Get a gator that will get you where you need to go. Something you can get in and go with plenty of space. Be ready to tackle any terrain, large or small. When you choose Reynolds, you choose reliability. The guaranteed great customer experience and relationship from the moment you walk in. Come in and see for yourself or visit ReynoldsFarmEquipment.com.
During Army basic training, I found out I had 7 herniated discs. Prescription pain medication led me to a heroin addiction. I entered Wheeler's program and learned life on God's terms.
After meeting Greg, I was so impressed, I hired him. When you change that one life, it makes it all worthwhile.
Now, I have a family, house, and a job that I love. At Wheeler, you can have something everlasting.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
Sports fans, welcome back to Game Time, to pure spirits, to pure sports. Welcome back to high school sports.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is Game Time. This is Indiana high school sports. This is your IHSAA.
At first, me and my mom were struggling. I was trying to pay the bills and trying to take care of my mom at the same time. When I first heard that I can get paid for taking care of my mom, I was kind of skeptical because I had been doing it for so many years without pay. That's when I reached out to Passion to Care. I read all the reviews and I saw that they were #1 in the field. Passion to Care has really, really changed my life. Right now, I take care of my mom 24/7 thanks to Passion to Care.
You want a piece of equipment you can trust, one that's easy to use. No matter the size of the job, you want to create a feeling worthwhile, something you can use for every job. For over 60 years, Reynolds has been a community staple, ensuring our customers powerful implements, top quality care and service. You need something that's in it for the long haul. Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer, today at ReynoldsFarmEquipment.com.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.IndianaSRN.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
Just working with our company, you're going to get to work with a lot of bright individuals.
Everyone is open and ready to help you, and definitely big on advocating for making sure that you succeed and reach your potential.
Everyone's goal is the same, to make the best products that we can for our clients and make sure that it is everything and more that it could be.
What's kept me here? Our culture. We're genuinely a very great group of people. Everyone's just always willing to lend a hand.
When I have a suggestion or a concern and I voice it, leadership actually hears me.
As a consultancy, every person has a role and has something to bring to the table. There's just a lot of opportunities here if you're up for the challenge.
Jump on board, be part of the fun ride, because we're going places.
Aspen Creek Grill, we are a from-scratch concept with comfort fresh food. You can expect a world-class experience on a great budget. We've got incredible specials, great service. Today's dish that we're going to highlight is going to be our Aspen Blue Sirloin. It is, again, our premium Black Angus certified beef, and we top that with a blue cheese crust. Again, everything that we do here is made from scratch, and it's no different from our steaks. We hand cut all our steaks in-house. So our team back there, it's just an incredible team. Everything that they do, they take so much pride in. They put a little bit of themselves into everything that they do over here, especially since it is a made from scratch concept. We want everybody to come, visit us, enjoy some great food with some great service. Bring your friends, bring your family, come have some great food, have a great time with us with some of the best comfort scratch food.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Oh, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
Hello and welcome to Game Day. My name is Keith Myers. I'm the Vice President of IndianaSRN. We're glad that you joined us today. If you'd like to see more content just like tonight, just hit the donate button. Every dollar that you donate will go right back into more games right here on IndianaSRN, which means more games for you. It's IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
Hey, Indiana. Let's clear the air about vaping. Glue, rat poison, paint. We all know these products contain poisons like formaldehyde, arsenic, and lead. And these are just a few of the chemicals you'll find in e-cigarette vapor. Let's clear the air, Indiana. Don't puff this stuff. Visit don'tpuffthisstuff.com to join the fight and spread the word.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mount Vernon High School. It's a Friday night of high school basketball here on IndianaSRN. Tonight, it's the Trojans of Newcastle entering this contest. Winners of 6 of their last 7. They come in at 7-8 overall. And the Marauders of Mount Vernon, they're now 10-3. They've won their last 2 contests, looking to make it 3 here tonight. High school basketball in IndianaSRN is brought to you in part by Reynolds Farm Equipment, the leading equipment dealer since 1955. Passion to Care, delivering care with more than 24 years of experience. Boilermaker Local 374, representing highly skilled and motivated workers in field construction and metal fabrication in Indiana. Wheeler Mission. For over 131 years, Wheeler Mission has been a pillar in the Indianapolis community. Bertner Electric, your trusted electrician partner since 1986. The Morales Group, they're in business to create a better future for you and your family. Piper Logistics, your trusted logistics partners since 1994. Aspen Creek Grill, the largest selection of great food made from scratch and very affordable. Highway Safety Services, over 60 years combined experience in traffic control and pavement markings in Indiana. And the IndianaSRN Sports Page. Follow the sports page every day. Updated news from coast to coast. Just log on to IndianaSRN.org and click on the Sports Page tab. Troy Dergowski along with Craig Cox joining you here tonight, and great to see you again. We don't get a chance to work together very often, but it's good to see you.
No, absolutely. It's good to be back in the helm of somebody of your stature, so I certainly appreciate that. But I'll tell you, Troy, what a great gym to be in here tonight, and then certainly with 2 really rich tradition schools, especially with Newcastle. But I'll tell you, it's the last day of the first month of the year, which we know in high school basketball what that means. You're ending your 3rd quarter, all right, of the season and beginning your 4th, and this is where you really want to be at a position where you're peaking and trying to play your best ball. So you can really use these last 2.5 weeks to really do some fine-tuning.
We'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we're going to scout both these teams. We'll start with the Trojans. We'll come back, talk about them and the Marauders right here on IndianaSRN.
Hello and welcome to Game Day. My name is Keith Myers. I'm the Vice President of IndianaSRN. We're glad that you joined us today. If you'd like to see more content just like tonight, just hit the donate button. Every dollar that you donate will go right back into more games right here on IndianaSRN. This means more games for you. It's IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
Looking to elevate your brand? Choose Dynamark, your local one-stop shop for all your print, signs, promo products, apparel, and mailing services. Serving Indianapolis for over 50 years. Dynamark, where strong relationships are built through exceptional service.
We're back here at Mount Vernon. By the way, Daniel Cox in his 12th season at Newcastle, and you just alluded to both these programs, storied programs, but maybe none more, at least I wouldn't think many more than Newcastle. The Trojans have been just good for many, many years now. Over the last few years, they haven't been as good as they'd hoped, but again, they've now won 6 of 7.
Well, I mean, it starts from back in the days. We got to go back to the 1900s and always, talk about the North Central Conference. When you think of Newcastle, you just immediately think about, what that mecca of a conference used to be with Anderson and Anderson Highland and then Marion and, just the list goes on. But you also have to throw Newcastle on there, just the rich tradition of players, obviously, and even backing it up, it starts with just, their field house and their gymnasium in Chrysler Arena, and that being the biggest one in the world, not just here in the state or the country, but yeah, I mean, and then, you also think about just traditionally when you think of Newcastle and basketball, you also think about the Indiana High School Hall of Fame.
That's right.
As well. And so it brings great things there. And then you've got a very up-and-coming program in terms of Mount Vernon, which we'll talk through personnel here in a bit. But no, Brad Burns done a great job there. He's been an icon coach, in the state of Indiana with 20 plus years, 25 if I'm not mistaken, in his 26th year. And has almost 600 games under his belt. So anytime that you talk about a coach that's been doing it that long, you're in store for some good basketball.
Talk a little bit about the Trojans. Landon Thompson, their leading scorer. He and Mason Miller be kind of a 1-2 punch here tonight.
Yeah, it is. I mean, when you look at what they have some good balanced scoring. They've had, a little tough time in trying to translate some of those into wins. We talked about in the commercial break just a moment ago, about got a great win, even though they're a 3A program and played the 2A Wapahani, but getting that 9-point win was huge against a team that was number 1 and number 2 in there, and the success that they had even last year as well in the tournament.
When we come back, we'll talk about Mount Vernon under head coach Joe Bradburn. Is Coach had mentioned a little bit ago, he's doing a fantastic job. We'll talk about the Marauders coming up next.
We're not here to just sell you another piece of software. We're here to helping you procure the licensing, manage and monitor those licenses over time.
Collaboration is very key when working with our clients. We are very much a partnering organization. We definitely work as a team to deliver solutions for our customers.
We're here to build relationships with customers, which is unique.
Hi, I'm Grayson, and our parents work in road construction. Every day they head out to make our roads safer and better for you. But did you know work zone deaths have increased 63% since 2010? Wow, that's a lot. Please slow down and pay attention when you see all those orange signs. When you do, you're helping to keep our parents and everyone who works on the roads safe. Thanks for looking out for us.
This message is brought to you by your friends at Highway Safety Services. Stay safe, stay alert.
Mount Vernon enters this contest, Coach, at 10-3, and we know one name that they really surround their success, and that's Luke Ertl.
No, and it doesn't just come with basketball. I mean, this kid was a stud on the football team with quarterback, just a junior, threw for almost 3,000 yards and 26 touchdowns. So even before we talk basketball, we got to talk some football.
That's right.
But no, what a great story he's been. Obviously, the Ertl name is nothing that's not familiar with the Marauder family, and has just done a phenomenal job. Great athlete, good kid. Has done a phenomenal job, just and good balance. He's not one that really presses a lot in terms of getting. He really organically lets the game come to him in a lot of ways. Very patient, looks to get others involved. 20 points, 7 boards, 4 assists. I mean, he just does a lot for them, and a lot travels through them. And that's the thing you wonder is how well that can speak not only the longevity of the season, but also, more importantly, postseason-wise.
Yeah, and it's coming up very, very quick. As Coach had mentioned, we're in that third quarter, entering the fourth quarter of this high school basketball season. I know Craig will tell us more about some of the other keys to this basketball team, because it's more than just Luke Ertl. They got some other areas and pieces that will be significant in tonight's matchup. All right, when we come back, starting lineups and the tip-off coming up next right here on IndianaSRN.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
We're back here at Mount Vernon. Let's go to our public address announcer for tonight's starting lineups. There are the starters for both teams. Coach, talk about keys to this one tonight.
Well, I think a lot of it. I mean, any game you go into, you got to stay with what got you here and what your pillars of your program are. I think with Mount Vernon, a lot's going to travel through Ertl, so it's a lot of it's going to be support. How well can those around him do the things night in and night out, and certainly tonight that they can try to count on somebody else to step up and give him some better support. I think with Newcastle, obviously it's how you neutralize Ertl and making somebody else hurt you. But I think a lot of both these teams are going to hit you with a lot of discipline. Mount Vernon does a great job of ball security. They don't turn the ball over much, and so that's really good. So you can expect some good discipline out of both teams.
When's the last time you saw a Newcastle team wearing black?
Black. Now, I was going to say when they were announcing, too, I said it was almost like, Shamrock City here, with all the green. I was kind of liking it. And then, you can't see them now, but the coaching staff is decked out in all the same shoes and looking good. I was like, man, I don't know about you and me, but we could use a little apparel.
Yeah, we could do swag any night. You want to give us some.
Might be the best dressed coaching staff I've seen yet. But no, you're right, though. I haven't.
Trojan basketball to begin this one here tonight. Want to remind you tonight's game is a copyright production of IndianaSRN in the Indiana High School Athletic Association. Any use of audio or video without the express written permission of IndianaSRN and the IHSAA is strictly prohibited. It's always a good defense, too, by Mount Vernon.
Well, now they're coming out, obviously, in a man, which they're known to do, and running, really hedging and doing automatic switches coming over those. So they're big about ball pressure and kind of pressure containment.
Last time that I did a Mount Vernon game, they really didn't shoot very well, but then you mentioned about Ertl, too. He kind of just took over. The alley-oop underneath, basket good, Max Weiss. But back to Luke Ertl, when he gets going, he is tough to stop.
No, and he got great rhythm, and like we said on the opening segment, he's not one that really chases the game. He really is very patient, allows it to come to him. I'm sure that's what Matt Painter likes to see, too, in terms of being a Purdue recruit.
Back the other way, Teschendorf, and 2 turnovers already for Newcastle, and Mount Vernon up 4-0.
Well, it's those types of things there, too. Ertl sees that, could have very easily kept that, but it's about seeing the next guy open and getting guys involved early. And that's signs of good, heady players where they're getting others involved and understanding what that means is sometimes that can draw other attention to other players. And even when you're the prime player for your own program, a lot of times it just takes a little bit of that pressure off.
That was a foul on Max Weiss away from the basketball. So, again, Newcastle trying to get on the board for the first time here tonight. And we got a moving screen called against Elijah Turner, and that'll be their 3rd turnover already.
Well, it's one of the two where you come out the set, had a long drive over, and first 3 possessions getting turnovers at them. If you're the Marauders, you're loving that. 2 of them have kind of been unforced, but you're at a position, too, where these are types of things that they're going to happen, but you got to try to minimize those. But then if you're Mount Vernon or the opponent that you're getting these, is what do you do with those turnovers when you get them?
That's
right. You got to be able to turn some of these into points.
By the way, I'm glad you pointed out the Newcastle coaching staff and the kicks that they have. You're right. That. We need to get a hold of them.
That's impressive.
There's a couple of programs out there that have some pretty nice shoes and stuff. We need to start calling around.
Yeah, I don't know what the score's going to be, but I'll certainly give them a 10 on how they're looking tonight.
Looks like we have a technical foul, and it may be something that was not in the scores book right here.
Well, and that's beyond mental mistakes there. Those are types of things, certainly, that is an oversight that's just going to give them potentially anywhere from 1 to 4 more points.
So the free throw is good. It's now a 5-0 lead. Actually 6. He hit them both. So Mount Vernon leads at 6-0.
And Newcastle coming out more of a matchup 2-3 zone here where you're just looking to get some contained pressure in their area and just hope for rotation. But the things where you neutralize that is just obviously with ball movement, how you can get some pin screens and shifting the ball from side to side.
That's first turnover on Mount Vernon. They called a travel that time on Max Weiss. So now it'll be Trojan basketball shutout so far, and now the almost first 2 minutes of this opening contest. And great to have you with us here on IndianaSRN. Ball stripped away, another turnover. Darty back the other way, layup good. That's the 4th turnover now by the Trojans. Rough start if you're Newcastle. And already down 8-0. One thing about it is, too, and they don't score a ton of points, about 54 points per game. You can't get too far behind. You don't have that much firepower.
Yeah, neither one of these teams really put up a lot of points. Both of them are in the 50s, Troy. Great point there. So, I mean, they're good defensive teams as we obviously get the Trojans on the board with Turner getting the layup here. But, yeah, I mean, neither one of them score a lot. Shooting percentages were much paralleled in the same. Newcastle's averaging about 13 turnovers a game, where Mount Vernon only turns the ball over about 9-10 times a game, which is really good for the high school level.
This is Ertl for 3, misses that one. I got to ask you, and we've been talking, I've been kind of busy this week doing a lot of games, and the one thing that kept coming up was the amount of turnovers that teams are committing. A lot of them are into the 17, 18, 20 range, and I'm just curious from your standpoint, are we seeing teams that really sometimes don't really take care of the basketball as much as they should, or is it a trend that I'm just imagining?
Well, I think a lot of it's obviously very subjective to what type of, what team, what program, the style of play that they're playing. Obviously, the more up-tempoed you're going to be, you're going to probably put yourself into a few more. But I think anytime that you're around that 13 to 15 on the high school level is not too bad. I mean, if you're anything that's 12 or south of that on the high school, you're doing a really good job of taking care of the ball. But, yeah, you do see an uptick a little bit in terms of that. But I think the pace of our play, both on the boys and the girls side, overall is getting a little quicker. And who knows, if a shot clock comes, then maybe it even gets quicker.
Oh, it'll be here. I've already told you guys before, when I become Supreme Emperor, it'll be here. So
we're both in favor of it.
Trojan basketball, they're down by 6, almost halfway through now this opening quarter of play. You can already tell now the Trojans are going to have to find a way to get some points on the board.
Well, Mount Vernon's doing a great job of not only the sustained ball pressure, but they're doing a great job of hedging and switching over these screens where you always have ball presence. And a lot of times, if teams aren't used to that type of pressure, and I'm not saying by any means Newcastle's not, but it can really get you in an uncomfortable zone, and you got to have guys that can really take care of the ball and handle that type of pressure.
Nice pass to the inside, missing it. The rebound put back good by Turner. By the way, that last foul was called on Will Jones of Mount Vernon. Each team now with 2 fouls here in the opening quarter.
And the biggest thing about neutralizing a zone is really how well do you utilize the high post. You really got to work a high-low game and getting pin screens, which haven't seen much of that as of yet. Looks like we got a player down and injured. I think he turned his ankle. We'll see when we can get to the other end here.
Here's a 3 on the way, no good. By the way, that's Teschendorf.
Here.
Yeah, Teschendorf is at the other end where he was slow to get up off that
right ankle
rebound too. Yeah, those are tough. I got to tell you too about shoes, which I find interesting how things have changed. Again, they're very nice, but nobody wears even a mid-top anymore. Everything looks just like a running shoe.
It's very low cut. But it's all about style and swag now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like in our days when we played, it's not only like you got high top, and the high tops back then were like, probably thinking like somebody's boots.
Yeah.
Now as far as how high they come up. And then back then, everybody wore ankle braces, and you don't even see guys getting taped as much anymore as we get a basket here by Vice, his second of the game, going up 10-4. But yeah, there's so much. You're right, Troy. I mean, you don't even see too many mid cuts anymore. The high tops are gone.
Yeah, that's sad. That just hurts me right here. 10-4 your lead as they try to get it back inside, and another turnover for the Trojans. They're off to a rough start.
I got to ask, too, as we're talking about shoes. So what can you remember back when, what was your favorite pair of shoes back when you were a kid?
You know what? When I was in high school, I don't remember what it was when I was really young, but in high school, I think I had a pair of Converses.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
The StarTech.
Oh, yeah. We're going back a ways.
Well, I remember when, that we went from, I think, canvas shoes. Of course, the Chuck Taylors, as we get a 3 here by Ertl. But then I remember so much when we went from 7th to 8th grade. 8th grade was the first time I got a leather pair of shoes, because they always canvas before then. But there's a lot of that's conversation for later. But some great shoes back in the day.
Ertl gets the foul. I'll show you how old I am. When I went to college, they handed out the Chucky Taylors, the canvas ones. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I kept my high school shoes there.
And everything was white. The only way you'd get any color on your shoes was to get colored shoelaces.
Exactly, yeah. We didn't dare do that, though. They'd been showing them up or something. Here's a 3 on the way, missed, as Mason Miller averages about 16, can't get it to go. The lead is at 9.
Well, I think a lot of what Newcastle's been a hard time putting the ball in the basket is just the pressure that Mount Vernon's been putting. This is where you'd like to see, the big here step out and get some screens on the perimeter. Nice high-low action, little pocket pass there as Weiss gets another one. He's got 6 early.
Yeah, good start there for the big fella inside. They have 2 bigs now going at the same time for Mount Vernon, as they have brought into the ballgame Tyler Davis. And we're down to our final 90 seconds. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Reynolds Farm Equipment, the leading equipment dealer for homeowners, farmers, landscapers, commercial contractors in Indiana. If you'd like more information, give them a call, 317-849-0810. We got a foul call against Mount Vernon.
Well, another great switch there, but if you're there is this Charlie Cross. When you know that dribble exchange is getting ready to happen, you got to be sitting in your stance. Can't get into your belly that high. You just put the official in no position but to make that call. So you just want to think about containment. Just staying in front and guard your yard.
When you were coaching, talk a little bit about what you expected out of those officials, and we talked about it a little bit last night. You're looking for consistency throughout the entire game. If you're going to call it close the whole game.
Well, I think the big thing is how that they can, from the beginning, I think I always used to like to have an idea with the officials prior to the game as far as what their mindset as a crew, not just individually, on how they were going to plan to call the game. But then also, what's it like at the beginning of the onset? Because you're right. What you don't want is quarter by quarter. It's going to have ebbs and flows, but what you don't want is what you said, what every coach is looking for, and player for that matter, is consistency.
Yeah.
And so, and it's tough, but I'll tell you that the thing that I love is again, you're always going to have the element of human error. And as much as we talked about just a second ago, how much we both want shot clock, one thing that I never want to see in high school basketball is instant replay.
Well, that'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Oh.
These games would be a lot longer than they are.
Goodness.
2 free throws there for Mason Miller. He's on the board tonight. The lead back to 9. High school basketball brought to you by the Morales Group. They're in business to create a better future for you, your family, and for the community we share. They can match you with the right career or hire the right candidate for your company. 317-472-7600.
And now we see Newcastle coming out of that zone, which they're needing with the deficit that they're in, try to get a little bit more ball pressure themselves and go on man-to-man.
See if Mount Vernon will be able to hold it all the way. They're actually going to attack and score. Nice job inside by Tyler Davis.
Yeah, really good by the big fella there, sitting on the post. Really good interior post feed. And when you're there, you got a crab dribble. Did a good job. A little jump hook, shielded the protection of the ball with his body and getting the easy one to go.
Trojans spread the floor. Wide open 3 is on the way, and good tough shot there by Logston as the buzzer goes off. We head to the second quarter. Mount Vernon leads at 17-9.
Aspen Creek Grill, we are a from-scratch concept with comfort fresh food. You can expect a world-class experience. We've got incredible specials, great service. Everything that we do here is made from scratch. We hand-cut all our steaks in-house. Bring your family. Come have some great food.
They say nice guys don't finish first. So maybe it's time to reconsider what it means to be first.
It's about being your best, but knowing you could be even better.
It's being present, but respectful of history.
It's donating something more valuable than money.
It's believing in yourself and something bigger.
It's coming from different families, but treating each other like brothers.
It's not just being a man, it's being a Mason.
Back here at Mount Vernon, tonight's game brought to you in part by Boilermaker Local 374. They represent highly skilled and motivated workers in field construction and metal fabrication in the state of Indiana. We need a safe and dependable workforce. You can count on Boilermaker Local 374. Your thoughts after the first quarter? Kind of maybe what we thought might happen.
It was, and I think, in a lot of ways, I hadn't seen Newcastle play just yet. And again, I think that a little bit of the ball pressure, it's probably nothing they haven't seen on film, but it's different to experience it in a game. And I think that kind of made it a little harder for them to find some rhythm. Good way to close the quarter where they had 5 points out of their last 3 possessions.
Ertl on the drive, the kick, and the 3 is missed. And an offensive rebound underneath by Davis, but then he turns it over.
Well, one thing there, you get that ball there, instead of sticking it above your head, you got to get it, you got to chin it and really get nice and wide, and you're much stronger that way.
Back the other way, foul be called on Davis. The one thing I always know in the 30-some years I've been in Indiana and watching Newcastle over the years is they've always had, to me, 2 things. 3-point shooters. Yeah. And they've always had some big guys inside. And I'm not saying they always had to be 6'9", 6'10",
sure,
but they have big physical guys inside.
Yeah, no, really good points. And always have been one that shot well from the free throw line, but they haven't really done a very good job this year in getting to the charity stripe as much as they have in the past. They're only attempting anywhere from about 8 or 9 free throws a game. And so, especially with the way that the new rules changed a few years ago where, you get to the bonus, at the 5th foul, I really thought that we would see more of an increase with free throws. But interesting enough, it hasn't probably ended up being at the level that people thought it would be. I do like the rule. But I think I would like to see more teams be more aggressive in terms of tacking gaps and trying to get to that bonus early on.
Little jump hook in the lane, good by Elijah Turner, who now has 6. You make that good point about the amount of free throws being shot. Does a lot of that have to do now because the floor is so spread and we see so much perimeter game, you don't have that much down low?
Well, and what it is that big circle going around, right? It's the 3-point ball. It's changed our game for the last 8-10 years just drastically, and I think some of that is, you're seeing an uptick with that. But, you also see that at the NBA. I mean, look how many as Ertl knocks a 3 down here, his second of the game where he's got 8 points. But, and a lot of that just trickulates down, to even the high school level. I mean, and, so I think some of that with the amount of threes that are being taken doesn't get you in to the core of the defense to where you're making guys probably bail you up or you're not drawing contact as much. So I think that has a lot to do with it.
You know what, to become Emperor, you know what else I'm going to change? You can only shoot the 3 in the second and fourth quarters.
There you go.
We'll stop this real quick. Entry pass going to be knocked out of bounds. There's a lot of changes coming, as you know, Coach.
No.
You worked with me enough to know that in football we're going to eliminate punting.
The way of thinking.
No punting ever again.
Innovation.
I know the punters won't like to hear that because there'll be a lot of unemployed guys out there, but that's just the way it's got to be. 20-11, a 9-point lead in the ballgame now is Braylon Bennett for Newcastle. He wears number 22, and that's going to be a traveling call on the drive that time by Logston. That's now their 7th turnover.
Yeah, just did a good job there of the attack getting downhill, but it's just also a matter about being a little bit more in control. Probably wouldn't have lost your footing, but I like the points of attack.
Drive by Ertl, and now you see how he can hit you on the outside and also driving to the basket.
Well, he's good. Like I said, he's a good athlete for one, but he also is a good downhill penetrator. He's also in a position where he can, get to the basket, and he's not a low finisher. He's, like we said, good athlete, can finish high for his height at 6'2". And again, good rebounder, as we just saw here. He's averaging 7 boards a game as well.
Drive to the inside, plenty of contact, and let's see if Weiss will go to the line for 2, and I believe he will. Well, we're, as you said earlier, I got to ask you, too, if you don't mind. I mean, we're not that far from the tournament. You keep an eye on all these basketball teams around the Indianapolis area and, of course, a little bit further out on the perimeter like the Newcastles. As you look ahead, who do you think are the big favorites?
Well, I think you got to start no more than on the side of town that we're pretty close to here in Fishers.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, they're on I believe I heard like a 29-game winning streak, where the only game they lost last year was to Carmel, and they lost by, I think it was 2 or 3. And then they went on a run the rest of the season, won the state championship, and then they're undefeated this year. And, so you got to start there. They're extremely solid. Winnegar's doing a great job there. And then I'll tell you, Carlisle over at Ben Davis, they're starting to make some noise. They had a few injured players to start the season and did really good there in the county tournament. And so, I mean, I think those two you got to start with. There's really some good, solid teams that you have that aren't even in the 4A system as well locally also. So, we're wrapping up, getting into our fourth quarter of the season, starting tomorrow basically, and it's fine-tuning time.
Yeah, it certainly is. By the way, that was the 8th turnover for Newcastle. Of course, want to remind you that we'll have all the high school scores on our sports page coming up tomorrow morning. If you don't want to stay up late tonight, check them out. We have more games coming up, not only other games on our network tonight, but we have more games coming up on Saturdays. You see Ertl, the pass inside intended for Weiss, and looks like we got a foul on Weiss on the turnover. Or are they going to say a jump ball?
No, I think he called it, or she called a foul.
Okay.
And Ertl did a good job coming off the screen, and it was they switched it. It was the right idea to pass, but what he did is he passed to the inside hand. You really want to pass to the outside hand away from the defense. That ball probably wouldn't have got deflected. But that'll be key, too, because, how you guard and how you hedge high over the screen. Nice interior pass here. So you're going to get a foul and a couple shots here coming for Turner.
By the way, that was on Teschendorf. So, again, Elijah Turner, who leads Newcastle in scoring tonight with 6, will head to the line for 2. Want to remind you tonight's game brought to you in part by Passion to Care. They've been delivering care with more than 24 years of experience. As a prestige healthcare company, Passion to Care is driven by decades of expertise and a drive to go above and beyond. Give them a call, 317-537-1811.
Turner knocks both those down as we get a quick pass down the floor, which is the best way to advance that ball, and Cross knocks down the tray ball.
Yeah, his first of the night, only averaging about 3 per game, so he's now matched his season average. So the Trojans down by 12. Slow but sure here, Mount Vernon keeps upping that lead a little bit more every time down the floor.
Well, and I think one thing that's hurting Newcastle is they get another turnover here by Mount Vernon is their movement off the ball. There's just not much happening. Guys get it as Ertl's attacking. This good ball movement here as they're shifting the ball from side to side. But when you think about offensively, whoever you are, it's 3 things of the dynamics offensively. 1, it starts with spacing. 2, how well do you move the ball? And then how well do you get player movement when you don't have the ball?
Right.
Those things are so critical. And that's a lot of times when I'm watching games is the action off the ball, what is happening. Because so many times, guys are looking around at the guy that has the ball, waiting for him to do something. And it's just, as he makes his move, there's got to be actual motions off of that, whether it's backdoor, whether it's circle movement where you get accessibility for ball reversal.
By the way, Daugherty just picked up his second foul off the rebound. So now each team, in fact, Mount Vernon has 4, and there's another turnover as we head back the other way. And really at that point, you would like Riker Bear just to take it up strong.
Yeah, you get that deep. Everybody's looking for you to shoot. Everybody else that's trailing the play is looking to follow. So it's just indecisiveness there. You got a guy on you. Go ahead and take him to the basket. Finish with the outside hand.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Piper Logistics. For more than 2 decades, the seasoned professionals at Piper have been the trusted allies for all your inventory management, warehousing, fulfillment, and transportation needs. Give them a call, 317-396-1023 as Luke Ertl connects again.
He's got 12 in the game right now, so he's more than half to his average at young man's averaging 20. And keep in mind, too, Ertl's just a junior. So
yeah.
He's a 26 grad kid, and so he's got a lot of time still left.
That is 11 turnovers now by Newcastle. Ertl fires the 3 and missed it, but almost got another one. There's a tip from behind, and ball is loose, and yet another turnover. That is 12, Coach.
Well, ball security is really big. Obviously, quick shot there in transition. That's one, you can always get that. The tough thing is when he let that go, they had no white shirts in the post. So, you got nobody to rebound. You can always end up any possession with that shot. So, would have liked to send him pass that up for a better one.
Shot in the lane, no good there for Logston. And now Mount Vernon with 1:47 to go, but we've got a timeout on the floor. This will be a 30-second timeout. Remind you that tonight's game brought to you in part by Dynamark. If you're looking to elevate your brand, choose Dynamark, your local one-stop shop for all your print, signs, promo products, apparel, and mailing services. They've been serving the Indianapolis area for over 50 years. Dynamark, where strong relationships are built through exceptional service. Give them a call, 317-328-2555. See the Mount Vernon huddle right there. They have a 14-point lead.
The pace has picked up, a lot more between both of these teams. You expected a little bit more probably out of Mount Vernon, but you've seen a little bit of this as well with Newcastle.
Well, let's see what Mount Vernon will do right here. And you mentioned a little bit ago when you saw Charlie Cross come down and kind of launch that one. I don't think Joe Bradburner was looking for that.
No, I mean, it's different if you get that after 2-3 passes and, you've tried to get higher percentage shots but to just start with that one in transition is one that you can always have a result of any possession.
The drive by Ertl off the glass and good with the left hand. He's not very big, but he's really strong to the basket.
That and he's, like I said, he's a good athlete and he finishes high. He's got a little bit of spring in him as well. And so, having that opportunity or ability, I should say, to be able to finish higher, plays well for him also.
I got to ask you, how do you think he'll fit in at Purdue when he finally gets there?
Well, there's just so much, left for him to do. And here's the thing, too, you talk about there's such a maturation process from a young man that goes from high school and through their freshman year. And some of it's a very eye-opening experience. But this is a guy that plays a lot in the offseason. He's playing around a lot of high-caliber players along with high-caliber players like Mullins and some of these guys. And so and he's still got almost a year and a half, left. And so there's a lot there. But, I think he's one that will – have to be able to find his role and seeing how he develops, next year as well. But what a great opportunity for him as we get a putback basket here by Landon Thompson, his first basket of the night, and he's their leading scorer, averaging 17 and 8.
Yeah, they're going to need more out of him the rest of the way after that missed rebound there by Luke Ertl. But now Mount Vernon will have it with a 13-point lead. Elijah Parra has also checked into the lineup now for Mount Vernon. He was a starter, I think, the last time we had been here. So
he's their second leading scorer at 11 a game. Only other double-digit scorer outside of Ertl. So didn't see him much, or I don't think we saw him at all in the first quarter, and a decent portion of the second.
Mount Vernon really stretching the floor here. See if they'll go ahead and play for one. Good crowd on hand to see this matchup as you see Ertl holding it near midcourt.
Who do you think's the ball is going through?
I wonder. Foul's going to be called on Logston. Of course, they have 4 to give. That'll be their second team foul. One thing you got to watch about Ertl is he'll come up and shoot that ball if you're not careful.
Indeed. And here's the other thing, though. If I'm his teammates, I mean, I at times I'm liking this because he's going to get a lot of attention. So, again, I can do a lot as a teammate of him off the ball and how I move. Looks like we might get an offensive foul.
Yeah, 22 on the push. Teschendorf picks up the foul. You and I could see that from up here.
Yeah, it's a good call. But, yeah, I mean, as much attention as Ertl's going to get is what am I doing as his teammate off the ball, whether that's screen, pick and pop, whether it's just off the ball cuts. He's going to demand a lot of help defense off the ball as well.
Mount Vernon managed only 12 points in the quarter, but we're at halftime. Mount Vernon leads Newcastle 29-16. Big play here for Mount Vernon. Ertl looking right, now over the middle, fires, and it's in there for a touchdown. What a throw.
Boy, what a stick, huh?
Side out. Back to the middle, and guess what? You want a point on the other side, you go to Taylor Lewis.
Here's Freeman. Has an opening shot. Score!
Stafford around a screen. Skip pass. Mays with 3. Mays drive. Floater up and in at the horn.
Hand off, and nice hole over the near side, 40, 35, 30, block to the outside, 20, 15, 10, 5, and touchdown. And that's a big one right there, and finally, somebody gets on the board.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.IndianaSRN.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
Vernon Electric Incorporated provides professional commercial electrical contractor services to Indianapolis and surrounding communities. Locally owned and operated for over 30 years, our knowledge and experience make us the perfect choice for all your commercial electrical contractor needs. Contact us today.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as
Back here at halftime, 29-16 your score. Luke Ertl, certainly I think kind of a quiet first half in a lot of ways, but he finished up at 14 points, leading all scores. Elijah Turner led Newcastle with 8, but really not a big surprise other than I think the 12 turnovers by Newcastle.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously way more than what you would want in a half for one. Didn't adjust much with that in terms of ball security. Certainly would like to see both teams, work the ball screens a lot more. You're seeing less and less of that. It's the toughest thing to defend for one. But being able to use the variations of screens, especially even early on, Mount Vernon didn't get any type of pin screens. Newcastle about halfway through maybe the latter part of the first quarter came out of that zone and went more to a man. But I think we kind of received what we felt we were going to get out of Mount Vernon. Again, I hadn't seen Newcastle play at this point, and just a little bit on film. But I think the thing is there, I want to see a little bit more on the ball screen, but I would like to see better spacing and ball movement.
All right, we'll come back. More halftime in a moment. 29-16, your halftime score.
Brian Chrisman joins me today. And Brian, talk a little bit about the winter and Wheeler Mission and how important it is for people to help Wheeler Mission, because winter means homeless and homeless means people in the cold. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, we really serve a lot of people year round, no matter what the weather is, right? And so we serve anywhere from 700 to 900 people who are experiencing homelessness every single night. But when winter hits, that can become life or death. So if you're stuck out in the cold, happens every year. IMPD will find people out in the cold and encourage them to come in. But if they don't catch them in time, I mean, again, life and death. And so it's vital that our doors are open. And so we do that. Our staff shows up every day to make sure our doors are open. We serve 1,000 meals a day plus every single day. That's a nice, warm, nutritious meal. Donors provide that. Donors provide our food, coffee, something hot to drink. Donors provide that. So there's a lot of opportunities to get involved at Wheeler to make sure we can get through winter, or to work at Wheeler. We need staff, and so we're always looking for staff to get us through the winter time. We spread ourselves thin during winter, making sure that anybody can find space, and so we have bed capacities. For sure, but we go beyond that every winter to make sure that the city has an option for people who are experiencing homelessness in the dead of winter.
Schools out there that are watching this program with our reach, maybe they want to do a sock drive, or they want to do a sweatshirt drive. They can contact our office at IndianaSRN, or they can contact you. Where's a contact, or who would be a contact that maybe we want to do a sock drive? I think that would be a great idea for SRN to start one of those sock drives. How would that? What does that look like?
Yeah, so if you go to wheelermission.org, we have our needs lists that are right there on our website. Those change sometimes in the winter, but there are some needs that are pretty much continual when it comes to hygiene items, when it comes to warm items to get us through the winter. So when you're talking about coats, especially bigger sizes, for people that come through. We want to make sure a lot of people that come to our mission, they come with the clothes on their back, right? And so we need to make sure they have something to wear during their stay with us, and which could be for a few weeks, could be for a couple months. And so go to our website, wheelermission.org. You can donate directly there, whether it's a financial donation or you can look at our needs list. You can even find drop-off locations. You can drop it off at some of the barns that we have around the city, or come right down to Wheeler Mission, drop it off right there. But we need this community's support. So greatest thing about Indianapolis is it is a generous community.
Yes.
It is a community that steps up when there's a need. And there's 1,700 homeless individuals in our community. That number has risen 5% just over the last year. Wheeler Mission is the main place for those individuals to go, has been since 1893, over 130 years. And so support that ministry so that those doors can be open, making sure that every man, woman, and child that needs to come inside can come inside and not only get warm, but get nutritious meals, food, shelter, and care. And so beyond that, we take them through a whole journey of program to make sure that they come out our back door different people. But the first things first, right? Get them fed and get them warm and get them safe.
Since it's basketball season and we cover over 300 games a year on IndianaSRN, we challenge our basketball teams and our basketball programs to get involved. There are meals that need to be served. Tell our teams out there how they can help and serve meals.
Yeah, no better way to really open your eyes to the community's needs than to stand in front of people who are desperately in need and hand them a meal, hand them what they're asking for that day. So great group opportunity is to volunteer at Wheeler Mission. You can go to wheelervolunteer.org. You can sign up a group. It can take an hour and a half to come down and serve a lunch. You can get 12, 15 people involved in that, a dinner. Come down either at our men's shelter or our women's shelter. It's a really cool experience for teams, not only to help in a way that you're making a difference, but to see the people that you're helping, right? To hand a meal to someone and smile and say hi to someone literally in their darkest moment, right? So
best assist they can ever make.
Oh yeah,
is to serve a meal.
That's a good point. It's a slam dunk.
It's a slam dunk, exactly. For IndianaSRN, this is Keith Myers.
Back here at Mount Vernon, 29-16. Coach, let's take a look at the second half. Newcastle certainly has to cut down on the amount of turnovers. Talk about what you see in the second half.
Yeah, it starts with ball security. I mean, I think Mount Vernon's done a good job in terms of turning some of those into points. When you get 12, though, you would like to get a little bit more than what they had. But I think it does start with ball security for Newcastle, for one. Again, as I mentioned, I'd love to see them have a little bit better ball movement, and being able to shift and attack gaps, trying to get into guys. Again, trying to utilize the opportunity to get to the line and get some kind of more points from the charity stripe.
Halftime score, it is Mount Vernon leading Newcastle 29-16. Third quarter is coming up here on IndianaSRN.
Calling officials cheaters or corrupt.
Insulting referees.
Threatening officials.
Berating young umpires, learning the ropes.
Violent language in the stands.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot. It's not a game.
You want a piece of equipment you can trust, one that's easy to use. No matter the size of the job, you want to create a feeling worthwhile, something you can use for every job. For over 60 years, Reynolds has been a community staple, ensuring our customers powerful implements and top quality care and service. You need something that's in it for the long haul. Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer, today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
Second half action ready to go here in just a couple of moments. We mentioned Luke Ertl leading all scorers at halftime. So now see what Mount Vernon can do here in the third quarter. Trojans trying to win their 7th in their last 8 games. Of course, coming off that big win over number 1, then number 1, 2A Wapahani. So here we go in the third quarter.
I'll tell you, we flew through the first half. Wasn't a lot of fouls, and not really. I think we only had one timeout, maybe one from each team, possibly. But nonetheless, getting started here in the third quarter. See what adjustments might have been made by both these coaches.
Got a quick foul called against number 14, Aiden Darty, and that's going to be his third, I do believe. That was a very quick whistle.
Well, I think he might get a sub, but it looks like he's maybe telling Coach, well, they're not taking him out, they're taking somebody else out.
That looks like Max Weiss, who has left the game. And they're going to say it was on Weiss instead, so that's Weiss's third. But another turnover there by Newcastle. They are now up to 13. 3 is going to be missed from the left wing there by Charlie Cross.
Well, great action there by Ertl, getting downhill, getting into the gut of the defense, making extra layers of the defense guard you, and then getting a nice kick.
Boy, the shot missed inside by Turner. We've got a foul call.
Well, and that's the ones you have to get. You have the high percentage, and then they haven't really gotten a chance to get those type of looks early on in the game. But nonetheless, you get these two here at the line, and you want to be able to convert these.
You know, one of the key coaches at Landon Thompson, as we said, he averages about 17 per game, and so far he has not been able to do much in tonight's contest.
Yeah, just his third point tonight, and not only the 17 points, but the 8 boards and 3 assists. So this is a young man that certainly does a lot for his ball club, and you know, it's one that they're going to need a really good output from the second half as he knocks down both of these.
Elijah Parra back in now for Mount Vernon. His earliest action, again, as we talked about in the first half, he didn't play in the first quarter, but he got some action in quarter number 2. And Riker Bear getting some early action as well.
Well, you can just look again after passes. This is what I'm looking at as far as what's the action. Here you're getting a nice back screen, coming, kind of a rescreen for Ertl right now, but there's just a lot of passing and standing. I always like to see the passer cut because it drops the defense and it allows for other rotations if you don't have a pass from the cutter. Because I think when the pass happens from the passer, defensively, that's who they're not paying. You're giving the least amount of attention to the guy that just passed it, and that's where you become your biggest threat.
By the way, that foul was off the ball on Tyler Davis. That's going to be Davis's third. That didn't make Coach Bradburn very happy. And that is their 4th turnover, so Newcastle will get the basketball.
Well, and you see Mount Vernon coming out in more of a 3-2 here, using their big stretch guy at the point of that with a lot of length. Kind of one, it makes you kind of start your offense higher than what you would like, but this is where it exposes the middle of the floor. You got to step up. If you can't get him that, then you got to be able to have him set some screens as they get the 3 ball knocked down by Miller here.
Yeah, Miller getting his first basket of the night, and all of a sudden a lead down to 8. Good look here at Ertl. His 3 is on the way. It is good, and so Ertl comes back and answers.
And he says, what you got for me, I got for you. So tit for tat. So it kind of makes it a wash out of these last 2 possessions. But again, you can look at the middle of the floor and how well that's open. If you can't get a pass there, then you step that person out to get high ball screens and then be able to come off those to attack the gut of the defense.
Here's another 3, this time from the right side, missed by Miller. So the lead back to 10. Here's Ertl. I was going to say he got away with a push-off, but he did not. So Ertl picks up the offensive foul.
Well, and there was definitely some contact there, but I didn't see who the player was for Newcastle, but did a great job of selling it, too, when you go to the floor like that, especially when you're retreating. Makes it a little bit more of a case for the striped official to make that call.
You know, it's almost automatic. Sometimes when you see that arm go, he may not even touch him, but it looks like he is.
In any extension, you're going to get that call 90% of the time.
Well, the lead will stay at 10 now for Mount Vernon. The kick out. Here's another 3 by Miller, and he gets another one. Miller, 2 out of his last 3.
Well, what I like about that is, again, you get a good, strong baseline drive, make him pinch, find the kick. But what was really good about Miller is he already had his feet set, and he's ready to shoot the ball.
Timeout on the floor, 31-24.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Back here at Mount Vernon following the timeout as Newcastle's cut that deficit down to 7.
Yeah, this I don't. When you have these big penetration lanes, I just don't understand why you don't get downhill and force the help and then get kicks or get back doors. There's just plenty of room to attack. They're doing a great job, Mount Vernon is, of spacing the floor, which creates large penetration gaps, and they're not taking them. And you want to force the help to have to guard you. It opens up so much more for your teammates off the ball.
Ertl, by the way, fouled by Miller. Miller picking up his first. I'm interested, again, Parra is in and Riker Bear in. As you see, Parra shooting the 3 and missing. And as we said, they didn't really play that much in the first half.
No, they didn't. And again, another one that you take as we get the same look here at the other end with another 3 ball.
Yeah, that was Landon Thompson.
But we can tell just here, again, you can look at the penetration gaps. Here you get a little not dribble exchange, but kind of a cut through. But you're just seeing gaps here to be able to attack. And it's almost like they're just what we call or used to call trimming the edge, where you're just passing the ball around the perimeter. There's got to be something that you're doing to pierce the defense and make the next layer of defense guard the ball.
Off the screen, nothing there. It'll be Parra.
There we go.
Parra turns and travels with it. Now, I'm going to ask you, I just think that sometimes when a player penetrates like that and he turns, why don't we just take it up and shoot it?
Well, what a lot of that leads, your question leads me to respond, and what's really become almost non-existent in the game anymore is the mid-range game.
Yes.
I mean, there's not much in that 10 to 14 feet. You just don't see it. If it's not an attack at the basket, it's the 3 ball. I mean, it's really getting lost. And I mean, the 3-point line's been around for a long, long time, and there's a lot of coaches that will, teach that, hey, that little 17, 18-foot shot is like no man's zone.
Yeah.
If you're not taking the 3, you got to take something within 8 feet. Yeah. So the mid-range game has just really almost become extinct to a certain degree.
Boy, you're exactly right. It drives me absolutely nuts. Here's Parra, because you see a lot of guys that could pull up in the lane with their ability to, at least I would think, to extend themselves. Who's going to block that shot, right?
Well, and especially on a downhill attack. You've got Ertl driving here. It looks like he's going to get another offensive foul, actually, 2 of the last 3 possessions, so wave off the basket. But yeah, to your point, when you're downhill attack and you got your defender on his heels and going backwards, you just put the brakes on and pull up, and he's retreating. He's not going to be able to stop and come back to you to be able to defend the shot. So, you just don't see a lot of that anymore in the game.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Officially Human. Their mission is to respect the game officials and also recognize them as authorities on the field and the court. Do your part and practice good sportsmanship. If we don't have officials, we can't play. It is the 3rd foul, by the way, on Ertl.
Well, and 2 of the last 3 possessions, but don't look now. I mean, this is just a hair outside a 2-possession game here now, Troy, and they've been down as much as, I think, 15, 16 points and have struggled in some ways to put the ball in the basket. Has had a few 3-point plays and then a couple turnovers.
Be a 30-second timeout here at Mount Vernon as you see 2:48 remaining in the 3rd. Don't forget our sports page tomorrow morning, high school, college, pro sports. We'll have it all. Check it out, IndianaSRN.org. Click on that sports page tab. And don't forget, you can also help us put more student-athletes on IndianaSRN by directing your donation to a specific school, or even just hit that donate button. More games will mean more opportunities for the student-athletes. IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat. Teams holding on to their timeouts a little bit as we will get later and later into this contest. But right now, Mount Vernon only 3 points so far in this third quarter. It has made it a much closer game as you see Landon Thompson. Thompson has been a non-factor so far here tonight. That is Hancock. That defense really forcing them way outside. Logston looking inside to Thompson. Thompson kind of throws that one up off the glass and missed it. We quickly head the other way. Here's Ertl for 3, in and out. Offensive rebound, stealing that one away and laying it in is Tyler Davis.
His second basket of the game.
I got to go back to Thompson's shot, and that kind of goes back to that mid-range jumper, and I don't know that it kind of looked like a kind of an awkward type delivery out of his hand, so it probably wasn't a shot he was really comfortable with.
Well, it was one that almost looked like it was shot putted. Really good back cut here that you see with Miller, and Miller's been a bright spot with them with the 2 threes here in the third quarter. But yeah, the last possession did kind of look like more like a shot put, and this from our vantage point too, it almost looked like the ball was going to sail over the rim, but he just put it high up off the glass. These are ones that they really got to get here too. I mean, again, they've closed a little bit of the gap, but being in a position where they can take advantage of when they get to the line is being able to knock these down as Miller does on his first.
Well, with that last foul on Teschendorf, his 4th.
Well, they got 1 with 4 and 2 with 3, so they're in a good position there potentially. It's just how well they neutralize that and be able to attack those guys to potentially get the 4th or 5th on them.
So now the lead down to 33-26. Been a low-scoring quarter here for Mount Vernon.
Running a different look or a set with kind of a high 4 here and trying to extend the defense up as another 3's taken here.
Yeah, Doherty way short, but he was able to get the offensive rebound. By the way, they've scored 14 points in the second and third quarters combined. They had 17 in the opening quarter.
Yeah, and there's one there with Thompson. You just don't want to be able to bail Mount Vernon out there. You know, you're between your offensive player and the basket, which is where you want to be defensively, ball you basket, but it's one of those things is why bail him out and foul at a time when he's not really a scoring threat. His back's kind of to the basket, but you gave one away there, and now they're obviously a couple away from the bonus now.
Braylon Bennett is now checked in for Newcastle. He wears number 22, and now you see the Marauders spreading the floor.
Well, and as they do this, your penetration areas again, you know, are even bigger now. So we'll see how they utilize these. You got to be able to attack if, in fact, you're trying to spread the floor. I don't know that they're trying to hold for the last shot, but.
Well, Ertl that time when he went inside, I don't think he even looked to shoot.
Or you didn't get movement off the ball.
Clock coming up on 40.
As you see the attack, if we get a look of one of these guys attacking, we'll see what is the action off the ball. Do you get the guy that's away from the ball circle for ball reversal? Do you get a guy that's in the deep corner cutting back door? Just getting that type of action, you know, pulls guys away from the penetration, which kind of leaves you more ISO'd. Or if your guy goes to double, then you're going to be open around the basket.
It looks like they're going to play for one.
Well, they sure are. They held it for almost a minute and a half.
No shot. Going to be a foul call, which, again, Newcastle had only 2.
They still got a couple more to give. Well, one more to give.
Stops the clock at 12.4. Mount Vernon will not get into double figures in this quarter.
This is one where you want to go at about maybe 4, get your shot off at about 3, 2.5, and try to hope for the opportunity for a putback on a miss.
Ertl, nothing there. 15-footer on the way off the glass, and good by Max Weiss to finish out the quarter. They only scored 7, but they still lead it by 9.
Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. We consider it a privilege to have you as one of our listeners and viewers. If you'd like to see more content just like tonight, just hit the donate button. Every dollar that you donate will go right back into more games right here on IndianaSRN, which means more games for you. It's IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
Looking to elevate your brand? Choose Dynamark, your local one-stop shop for all your print, signs, promo products, apparel, and mailing services. Serving Indianapolis for over 50 years. Dynamark, where strong relationships are built through exceptional service.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Family Source Insurance. Pat Cherry is your independent agent representing Ohio Mutual Insurance. Give him a call at 317-894-7000. Newcastle outscored Mount Vernon 10-7. Now, we have now seen Mount Vernon go from 17 to 12 to 7 in scoring, and that's why Newcastle still in this game as we head to the fourth.
Yeah, I mean, you got a run there where they were, I think, cut it down to 6 or 7, which is the closest that they've been since the very beginning of the game. And you know, I know they've had a hard time, at least in this game, trying to squeeze some transition points out. But if they can look to get anywhere from 4 to 6 points in this quarter off transition, I think it can make a world of difference at the end.
The drive and the miss by Max Weiss will send him to the line with a foul.
And he's playing with, what, 3 fouls? 3 or 4?
Playing with 3.
Yeah, so... and they got one other player with 4 and another one 3. So, again, we talked about that earlier. How well do they utilize that, not only to get to the line, but potentially get 1 or 2 of these guys from Mount Vernon off the floor.
Weiss missing the free throw. He's now 0 for 3 at the line. By the way, Newcastle still just 13 turnovers. I don't think they turned the ball over. If they did, it may have been one time in that third quarter, so they played much better in that area.
Well, and Weiss is one that he shoots 82% from the line on the year, so does some miss, but not too many.
So now the Trojans, can they get their offense rolling as well? They only had 10 in the third, 11 in the second. They dump down to Thompson, and he's going to get fouled, and that'll go against Darty, and I believe that's number 4 on him.
Yeah, what a great pocket pass here that you saw in Miller making here to Thompson. Really split that on the penetration really nice and found the seam to be able to get that to him, and hopefully they can try to knock these down to cut the deficit.
Well, this would be, again, a much closer game. They just got to get Thompson going. Just 3 points is all I have him for so far tonight, and they make it 4. But, again, when you're averaging 17, they need his offense. So now the lead at 8. See how much time here the Marauders will use in each possession. They're looking to try to get it inside to Weiss. Not a ton of size on either one of these two teams, but here is the shot by Ertl. Good. It'll be a 3-point bucket.
What a great-looking stroke, too. There's something always about a lefty shooting, I think, but really good job of asserting himself off the screen coming up or coming off of that, and really not only coming off of it, but knowing what he wanted to do with the ball.
Boy, Thompson barreling his way by Weiss, and he was wide open underneath. That'll way clear him out. Do a little hockey action down there. You know, left-handers, and you're not just talking about shooting the basketball. Those that swing the bat from the left side, the quarterbacks who throw with the left hand, there's going to be a foul on this shot by Ertl. They all just seem to be so smooth. Kind of reminds you of Ken Griffey Jr. in baseball, how smooth he was.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a sweet thing to see as Ertl comes up here, coming off the screen, looking for the pull up there, and right at the charity stripe, and now that's exactly where he's standing to try to knock these two down. He currently has 20, now make it 21, which is at just over his averages. He's doing 20 points a game, 7 boards and 4 assists on the year for the junior.
And don't forget, later on we'll be naming the Piper Logistics Player of the Game, and right now it looks like he might be the front runner. We've got a timeout. It'll be a full timeout, an 11-point lead.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Highway Safety Services. You do what you do. We'll keep you safe doing it. If you'd like more information, give them a call at 765-446-1502. I'm wondering if I could contact Highway Safety Services and they come down and scoop my snow next time, or maybe even redo my street. What do you think?
Well, I'll say redo the street. These chuck holes, man. I saw something on social media not long ago. This guy, it had like a chuck hole that was more like Lake Tahoe, and it had him inside of it like he was swimming. But no, some of the chuck holes around here.
Oh. All right, here we go after the timeout. An 11-point lead. Trojans trying to get their offense rolling. So far only 4 points here in the final quarter. They've just had a difficult time. The drive in the lane, shot's going to be missed. Offense rebound put back by Thompson, no.
Yeah, I mean, just, again, not really being assertive in attacking the basket, and then there's just no type of cuts. There's just not the action there that's forcing Mount Vernon to really guard much off the ball, and they're focusing on being able to help with the lack of penetration that Newcastle has shown, and it's just the advancement. So I think it's one of two things here. Is Mount Vernon's done a good job of pressuring the ball, but then when you put that with Newcastle's inability to this point to attack the basket, has just made it really hard.
Well, we thought maybe they're going to make a really strong run, but then their offense is, again, just not done what they needed to do here over the last minute or so. By the way, that last foul was on Logston. That's his fourth. As you see, Ertl, the Mount Vernon offense, working it down low. This is Weiss. Ertl once again. Ertl likes, I think, more to go to the left and pull up shot than he does the right, being left-handed. They're running some big-time clock right here. Weiss, and we got a foul call before. They thought it was a travel, but it's going to be a foul on the Trojans.
I couldn't tell. I think she called it off away from the ball, I believe.
Yeah, they're going to call it on 22, which is Bennett.
But, yeah, you have seen them a lot in the latter stage of the third quarter and even here in the fourth, really using a lot more of the clock and playing for what they want out of each possession.
Ertl, skip pass. I thought he was going to shoot that one.
Yeah.
Boy, drive down the lane, and he walked with it. That's Charlie Cross. That is the 8th turnover now by Mount Vernon.
Looks like he wants an explanation, too.
Okay, but that was, again, another instance where perhaps pull up, shoot
pull
it.
Up. Yep.
Am I just kind of talking into the wind now, do you think?
You are not. No, I mean, the mid-range game we talked about earlier is certainly one that needs to I would love to see it come back because it's missing.
I don't understand why it left, though. That's just the thing. It seems like, to me, it ought to be an automatic. There's a drive and a foul call, and fouls are starting to build up here for Mount Vernon. So if you can explain to me how it disappeared, please help
Well, I think
me.
a lot of it, again, is pace of play with transition in the three-point game. I think that there's a lot of teams that are being well, first off, we got to understand, too, that there's a lot more to it than just what we see in front of us now with high school ball. So you're talking about the off-season, with AU and just the travel ball. A lot of that is even much more transition and a lot of threes. And then I think, more of the game is being coached to where there's just not a focus on it. That 17, 18, 19-foot jump shot is players a lot of times, more times than not, are being taught that that's really dead man zone where we don't want you taking those, because at that point, another foot behind that, you're getting, one more point. And, interesting enough, that, and this stat was more from a couple years ago. I don't know what it might be last year, this year, where the percentages, how much they drop off. I mean, if you're shooting anything in the, mid to upper 30s in high school, you're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
And you see some teams that, are shooting 25, 27%, and they're still shooting 25 threes a game.
Yeah.
And so those are the things that certainly just still kind of make you wonder.
I got to share with you, and I don't remember what the study was, as Ertl hits the three, and he's hit some big buckets here tonight.
He's got 25 now.
But I saw a study that talked about the difference between shooting more. There's a downtown three, good by Miller.
That's one thing, and not only a logo three, even though the logo's not over there. In our days, it was called the hash mark.
That's right.
They don't even have those anymore either.
Timeout on the floor.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Get a Gator that will get you where you need to go. Something you can get in and go with plenty of space. Be ready to tackle any terrain, large or small. When you choose Reynolds, you choose reliability. A guaranteed great customer experience and relationship from the moment you walk in. Come in and see for yourself or visit ReynoldsFarmEquipment.com.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Aspen Creek Grill. If you're looking for amazing fresh food and servers that genuinely care about the service, make sure you check out Aspen Creek Grill this weekend. Give them a call at 866-885-3249. After the isn't tonight the Royal Rumble? I believe it is.
It is,
yeah.
and then tomorrow is, what is it, SmackDown? Or
well, no, maybe tonight's SmackDown.
No. Tonight's the Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And SmackDown must be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's because I think tonight's is at Gamebridge, and then tomorrow the big one is that it's the pay-per-view event at Lucas Oil.
Okay. You going?
No.
No.
My area of knowledge in terms of wrestling is like, even though I think the Undertaker's still around, I know him, but mine's like Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, all those guys, and they're either deceased or.
Here's that last play we just saw where he had a loose ball and had a collision.
It's like Miller going down there.
Yeah, I think it was friendly fire, too, by the way.
Going back to that they said that Ric Flair was at the Slippery Noodle last night.
Was he?
Yeah, so.
Well, I told you guys off the air that, yeah, exactly. Everybody knows that. I was working out yesterday, and Sheamus was there working out.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got to tell me.
Yeah,
maybe
Sheamus
our listeners, who's Sheamus?
Sheamus is a big.
Well, they're all big.
Yeah,
Troy.
big wrestling. Yeah, big wrestling guy with muscles. He's it's hard to explain. Scottish guy,
Sheamus.
Irish Scottish kind of guy. Yeah, is he Irish?
Like
yeah.
Roddy Piper type.
But he's a redhead like me.
Oh, there you go.
So he and I really connected yesterday.
That's it.
Yeah.
You didn't even have to speak to each other. You
just
had some type of connection. I like it. Oh, nice
pass. Down low, and how about the flush that time by Tyler Davis?
Not only a great interior penetration and find, but the big fella finishing it the way that he and a lot of the crowd like.
Well, Newcastle's going to get a timeout right here. They trail it by 12.
At first, me and my mom were struggling. I was trying to pay the bills and trying to take care of my mom at the same time. When I first heard that I can get paid for taking care of my mom, I was kind of skeptical because I had been doing it for so many years without pay. That's when I reached out to Passion to Care. I read all the reviews and I saw that they were #1 in the field. Passion to Care has really, really changed my life. Right now, I take care of my mom 24/7 thanks to Passion to Care.
70,000.
Yeah.
46-34 your score. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Wheeler Mission for over 131 years. And by the way, the same years of 131, the same age as Keith Myers. Wheeler Mission has been a pillar in the Indianapolis community, providing help, hope, and healing to people in need. Give them a call if you'd like more information, 317-686-6239. Take the look at that last shot.
Yeah, great penetration. Draw, and see, that's what it does. The downhill penetration drew Davis's man up to draw that, and he's wide open. I mean, it's those are the types of things, trying to make the next layer of defense guard you so you have an easy find like that, and what a great way to finish the play with the flush.
By the way, Mason Miller back in after that collision, and they're going to need him. They were looking at him over on the bench, and he's going to get knocked to the floor there by Max Weiss, and I believe that's number 4 on him. Well, you know, have the big Indiana-Purdue game tonight. We have high school basketball. You got all the wrestling this weekend. Where else would you want to be than in Indiana this weekend?
Well, there's no shortage of any sports ever in our city, and only more to come. And what a big year this is for all the Big Ten stuff that is going on, and of course the Horizon Conference is here, and then the WBIT and NIT at Butler postseason. You know, we got the Chipotle National Boys High School and Girls National Championships here at HSE in April as well. Of course, the Indy 5. I mean, it just keeps going. It doesn't stop here. You want sports, you got to move to this city.
Boy, that's a costly turnover right there. That's first one for Newcastle in a long time. Yeah, no doubt about it. It is a huge place for entertainment and sports for sure.
Oh, turn and face. There you go.
Oh. Shot on the baseline is going to be missed. The grab off the rebound, put back good. Nice job there by Teschendorf, who's back in the ball game. He has been out of the lineup with those 4 fouls.
Well, that's the thing. When you ever get the ball high post, your back's to the basket. You always got to pivot, face the basket. You always got to first, assess the rim, see if there's anybody closer to the basket than what you are. And then if you have a shot. But in that case, as soon as he did that, certainly had the 2 guys low and get an and one here.
Yeah, well, he misses the free throw, but how about that? Ertl sneaking in to get the offensive rebound.
Well, and keeping the floor spread as they are and playing for the possession, drawing fouls, certainly is good ingredients, whether you have a lead or whether you don't. And, of course, right now they have both.
Yeah, and Max Weiss back to the free throw line. You mentioned he's a good free throw shooter. He struggled a little bit here tonight. So Weiss, chance to add to the lead, and he does. We will be having the Morales Group post-game show when we are done, and we'll be naming the Piper Logistics Player of the Game.
Well, and Max just a sophomore, so Bradburn's certainly got this guy around for a couple more years as he knocks down his second as well. He's got 10 now for the game.
Imagine how good they would have been this year if those 2 young men didn't transfer to Cathedral.
Oh.
There is a drive by Thompson. I had a chance to watch them in the City Lions championship game the other day, and they're pretty good now.
Yeah, it was a big loss for them and certainly a great gain for the Irish and Coach Delaney.
So now the lead at 14, and Mount Vernon will spread the floor. You're going to see the Trojans come and try to double team any chance they get an opportunity, but that's going to leave Ertl open down the lane. He missed it, the tip up by Weiss. Weiss able to get it back, lay it in, and he's fouled by Elijah Turner. That's his 4th.
Yeah, he's making a living with the putbacks here over the last 3 or 4 possessions along with the dunk that he had, but really good job of staying with it. Missed the first one, got his carom and hit it and played through a little bit of the contact, see if he can convert the 3-point play.
That may have put the nail in the coffin right there for the Trojans. They're going to have to really hustle here to make up the deficit now at 17. This is Thompson.
And I believe this is the biggest margin that they've had in the game, as earlier it was 15 or 16.
Thompson lost it out of bounds, and it'll stay here. Last touch by either Weiss. Nope, they're going to say it will be a turnover. 15th of the night for Newcastle. Under 90 remaining. It looks like Mount Vernon is going to win their 11th though not always pretty tonight when they're 11th of the season. Really thanks to that young man right there. Ertl driving and missed the reverse layup. Here's Miller. The penetration and the kick, and the three is no good. And then back the other way we go on the dunk at the other end by Teschendorf.
Are they getting where a technical foul or what?
I'm not sure, but it looks like that
made stoppage for. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. They say hung on the rim?
Yep.
I didn't think he hung on the rim that much,
long,
did he?
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
So it's going to be Miller. By the way, for you IU fans, they're beating Purdue right now just before halftime, 33-29. Huh? That'd be a big upset tonight.
Well, and one that you kind of got marked on your calendar. You know, we were talking to this about the Ohio State and Michigan. But as much as Michigan loved the one game on their schedule they want to win, and the other team that loses, it's the one they don't want to lose. But, you know, they were saying, well, yeah, you lost to Michigan, but then we won the national championship.
Yeah.
But then you got some that are still even upset you won the national championship, but you lost to Michigan. But we still lost to Michigan. It's like, but you won the national championship.
That's beside the point.
Yeah.
In fact, that the other day when I was doing a college game the other day, I had an Ohio State fan. I had a Michigan fan shirt on, and he had Ohio State, and he had mentioned how much it hurt losing to Michigan, but also kind of felt it probably sparked him. There's a steal by Riker Bear, and he lays it in. He tried to perhaps flush it as well.
Little guy's got a little bit of spring for only being 5'9", 5'10".
Kidding. Lead at 20. Final 33 seconds remaining in this one. Trojans bring in Cormac Stillwell, so a lot of new players in. Jaden Sticko is in as well. And we got a foul call against Mount Vernon. They're going to empty their bench as well. That's Sebastian Sprague heading in and others. But we'll go to the free throw line, and this will be Maddox Melton. Well, Newcastle's inability to get their offense going tonight ends up costing them in this one. Are these two teams in a different sectional?
They are, because actually Newcastle's just 3A.
Okay, they're 3A.
And Mount Vernon's
4A.
So, yeah, Mount Vernon's in sectional 9, which is obviously with Greenfield Central, Anderson, and then themselves as favorites. And then Newcastle's in sectional 24. And the favorites there is probably Delta, Hamilton Heights, and Jay County on the most part. I mean, you got obviously Newcastle's next game will be tomorrow against Monroe Central at home, and Mount Vernon will be at home tomorrow against Lafayette Harrison.
That's your final score as Mount Vernon picks up the win 57-39. The Morales postgame show coming up next on IndianaSRN.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
At first, me and my mom were struggling. I was trying to pay the bills and trying to take care of my mom at the same time. When I first heard that I can get paid for taking care of my mom, I was kind of skeptical because I had been doing it for so many years without pay. That's when I reached out to Passion to Care. I read all the reviews and I saw that they were #1 in the field. Passion to Care has really, really changed my life. Right now, I take care of my mom 24/7 thanks to Passion to Care.
Tonight's postgame show brought to you by the Morales Group, building better futures one store at a time. Whether you're looking to start a new career or grow your team with exceptional talent, Morales Group is here to help you succeed. Coach, I tell you what, again, as we said, it wasn't always pretty. Mount Vernon able to come up big, especially those huge shots by Luke Ertl, and kind of dominated a lot of ways in that fourth quarter. Newcastle just couldn't get their offense rolling tonight either.
No, I think a big difference between the two was turnovers. I mean, Newcastle really didn't take care of the ball really well. Mount Vernon had good ball security. I think, too, that they were very patient and worked a lot of clock, especially more so in the second half, which minimized some possessions for both of them, for that matter. But when the ball's in your hands and you got a player like Ertl that can just do so much, not only with the ball, but also the special things and attention that he demands when he doesn't have the ball.
It's time to name the Piper Logistics Player of the Game. From warehousing to transportation, Piper Logistics delivers solutions that keep you on the move with efficiency and reliability. Piper Logistics, they will get the job done. I think it's pretty evident who the Player of the Game is.
Yeah, no, Luke Ertl, 25 points tonight, did his business in terms of on the glass as well and distributing the ball. Does a good job of really finding the guys ahead. And guys are certainly looking to him to lead this team, and that's what he obviously did here tonight. Both teams will be back in action tomorrow with games as well, both of them hosting their own games tomorrow.
And Mount Vernon, by the way, now 11-3. Newcastle falls to 7-9. Thanks to Mitchell as our camera person here tonight. Greg, the producer, for Coach, and yours truly. Thanks for being with us. Your final score, Mount Vernon 57, Newcastle 38. Have a pleasant weekend, everyone.